Hello guys, welcome to Daddy Share Space and welcome to my channel. Um, in this video I want to talk a little bit about, I was having a conversation with my wife today, and this is it's still vloggy style, but talking a little bit about my shop and, just kind of putting some thoughts out there just to try to get a little bit of perspective possibly. So one of the things I realized as I built my shop out is I've actually been going in multiple directions and just showing different examples of what I mean. Is like, in woodworking you've got carving, you've got you know uh, general home construction, you've got finished carpentry, you've got woodworking, you've got furniture making. You have all these different aspects of dealing with wood, and then general making all together, even if you go outside of dealing with wood. And in the process of building out my shop and moving forward, and this is specifically about shop things, I realized that I'll start going down a pathway and then I realize, oh, I want to do something else. Like, I was talking to my wife today and I was like, okay, I could get the Conturo, which obviously that's going to bring in some viewership for people that are interested in that. And it would also give me the ability to use edge banding. Now, I'm not ignorant to the fact that my skill set is not yet on the level of Conturo, but my my rationale is like, especially in the process of trying to build out a festival shop, you know, if you get the more expensive tools and then you work your way down. Now, of course, I didn't do that with my festival because I kind of I kind of put my toe in the water first before I started, getting to the point to where I would even consider something like the Conturo. But I was looking at that, and the Conturo kind of comes in line, or it comes in conjunction with another tool from Vacupress, I think it's called. And essentially, what they make is a machine that gives you the ability to laminate stuff like particle board or MDF and such. Now, a lot of furniture that you can buy right now, especially at IKEA, and even some high-end furniture, is made up of cheap wood, particle board, and MDF, and people are paying premium prices for that. So I have a desire to learn how to make cabinets at some point, and maybe even furniture, just for my own personal, growth. And because thinking legitimately, I don't know necessarily see myself as being a person that's going to become a furniture maker anytime soon in the future. I mean, I do have a day job, and it requires a lot of my time, and that's where my priorities lie. But I don't see anything wrong with building skills. And it creates independence, it creates flexibility, it gives you a lot of options by doing that. And of course, I've spent a lot of money towards that end. Now, when I look at the woodworking journey that I've taken, I realize that in some aspects I want to do stuff like, do basic construction, like, build an outdoor shed, and then do 16 on center studs and so on and so forth. For those types of jobs, I would prefer to use tools like my DeWalt, my Milwaukee, my Makita. But then, like, say when you start talking about cabinet making and that kind of, or furniture building, that leans me more over to the festival side of the equation. Now, so with that established, I was looking at different things that I wanted to bring into my shop. One, I wanted to get a proper bandsaw, one with a tall fence, one with like a large capacity over, like 13, 14-inch capacity, so that I would have the ability to um, make veneers and rip lumber, like even construction lumber, to fillet it out and to basically have access to more material for less money. And because as it is now, like, say if I want to board down to a certain thickness, especially like if I buy like a 2x8 or 2x10 or something like that, I'm basically having to make the decision to either A, cut it into smaller pieces and then split it, or you mill the board all the way down to a narrower thickness. Now, if you don't have a jointer, this one, my jointer is only like, I think it's like 8 inches. So that means I would be limited to 8 inches as far as surfacing in that way. And then, you could throw it through the planer. But that makes for a whole lot of sawdust and shavings that's just being thrown away. So you're throwing money away in that aspect. And it doesn't give you the capacity to learn those more advanced skills. So if you have a bandsaw, you can do you cut veneers, making thinner pieces of material. Obviously, you can make edge banding with that, but then you can also take a simple 2x4, an 8 foot 2x4, and not only cut it in sections on the lengthwise, but split it up and then make panels like that, of which you can take that further and make other projects, small projects. So and that's all for cheaper money. Now it requires more of an investment up front by getting that bandsaw. And obviously I have two bandsaws in my shop now. One of them is older model Rockler type bandsaw. It does not have the capacity to attach a fence. Now I'm sure I could MacGyver something on there, but it won't be very precise. And so I've kind of gone back and forth about that. And the Ryobi is just not powerful enough to be doing any kind of rip cutting, or basically veneering wood, if you will. And so so I have that mindset of, I know how that would advance my shop by buying that. But then the Vacupress machine, which would be used in conjunction with the Conturo, offers several things. Obviously, it would give me the ability to veneer, so then I could buy cheaper materials, things like MDF and also particle board, and make IKEA quality furniture, cabinets, and stuff for around the house, easily customizable. I already have the lamello, domino, and the Mafel to be able to do joinery, so that would be fine. And so I think that having that whole process under in my shop would be nice, because I get the vacuum machine and the big bags that you can basically, I would cut my pieces up accordingly, like your sides, your back, whatever, and then buy the laminate, put it on both sides, put it in the vacuum bag, and have it clamped down properly so that it's a sealed finish. And then you would come back around with the Conturo and do your edge banding, and then you have this professional quality type of product. Now something that looks fairly nice. Now what I've run into in my shops is, like, if you just use 2 by construction lumber, lots of twisting, lots of bowing, lots of cupping, which leads to more milling work, which is experience, yes, but it takes a lot of time to do that. And because it takes time to get better at those tasks, the end product is not quite as nice, right? I bought a piece of particle board yesterday to finish this tabletop that I made, and it didn't come out perfect because I didn't have support, so the corner kind of broke off. But when you're dealing with engineered manufactured type materials, like 2 by, like plywood, MDF, and boards like that, they come in 4 by 8 sheets. And especially with MDF and the particle board, is 70, it's 3/4 of an inch exact, so you can measure things out more properly, as opposed to problems that I've had in the past where, like, say, let's say I'm going to make a wooden frame with 2 by lumber, and I'll cut all my pieces to the proper length or width, and then if I take it to the jointer after that, it changes the dimension of the whole project or product. And then also too, if I can't get that cup or that bow or that twist out appropriately enough, it just makes the whole frame kind of cockeyed, and it just makes for a bad building experience. But as I said, one pathway is going with the bandsaw, splitting those boards, and still continuing to work on the milling process and having a cheaper price in lumber. But that requires, the bandsaw is looking at is like $15.99. The Conturo side, obviously, that's a very expensive device at $36.99, and then you add in that Vacupress equipment, which adds another probably 1,500 or so. Now the one dual purpose of the Vacupress is that you can buy a kit to make vacuum clamping, or they sell that, so you can have these vacuum pods to hold your work down for sanding and edge banding. And that would be cool, but it doesn't offer that option like with the Festool Vaxis, or like this company, I think it's called the Bankmaster from Germany, where You can put your workpiece like down on a circular plate and you can turn it around. So like basically you can spin it 360. So you can put edge banding on one side, turn it, edge banding on the other side, turn it, and you can do the same thing with routing, sanding. I really feel like a vacuum clamping system will be very useful in the shop. Now I don't see the German Bankmaster is being on par with the Vacupress, which is more for veneering, but it can do vacuum clamping because it's the same type of suction that you're utilizing. Um, there are two different. The two products have two different strengths. The Bankmaster product is going to give you obviously excellent holding power and flexibility, being able to do what the Vaxis does. However, the price, because you're going to be getting that from Germany, and I think it's in euros, you're talking about $1,600, $1,500 for one full setup. Now, I did reach out to the company, and they did say that they offer a 110 volt vacuum pump, so you can get it all working together, and they offer an adapter for the outlets. So that is something that I'm considering. They're supposed to be reaching back out to me to let me know how much it will be with shipping costs, and that's for the Mono S design, which has, I think, excuse me, it has like a circular top, and then it also has the oval head, and you could buy different heads. I'm not sure how much all the different heads and stuff cost, but each pump, from what I understand, can do up to 5 clamping options. Um, and that's with the Mono S. You can get the cheaper, like just the one straight line one. It's more of a narrow oblong that goes on your bench. It doesn't have the ability to tilt or anything like that. I think that was like 550 euros. And then they have the one that's taller with the circular top that rounds out. The Mono S or the Mono 3D give you the option to kind of turn it in different orientations, 45, 90 degrees. So that's pretty awesome, but it's still pretty expensive, especially if you decide you want to have two clamps. Because remember, the Vaxis came with two separate clamps. So just kind of recapping, you got Conturo over here, which is just edge banding, but then you've got the Vacupress, which will give you the ability to do the surface area of said MDF or particle board, which gives you a more professional looking finish, a nicer finish, right? So it'll make a better end product. And then, but it also keeps the cost down because cabinet grade plywood is $55. Sandy plywood is, I want to say, like $65, and then like the more higher quality plywood veneer, it's like $90 a sheet, right? You could go with that, but then you know, if you just buy a piece of particle board, like the one I bought yesterday was $30, right? If you buy a piece of MDF, you're talking $45. So you're dropping your price of your materials by doing that. You're dropping the price of your materials if you go with construction lumber, especially if you're not going to turn into like a production shop selling things. And it would be very difficult for me to be able to sell things to the public and make things in any way that's going to be profitable when I work 40 hours as a registered nurse. That's just not a real thing. However, regardless of that, I still see the benefit of creating skills and developing yourself in a way to where you cut down on your overall outflow of money, because you can do things yourself and you can make custom solutions for yourself. And maybe you may have a one-off, like somebody wants a bookshelf or a this or a that. You could do one-off jobs like that if you wanted to, but starting a construction company is not really a thing. um, there was, let's see, what else was there in that thing. So yeah, those are the options that I'm looking at right here as far as like moving my shop forward. The last one on the list, I was looking at the Evolution metal cutting miter saw, and it's a pretty heavy tool, but basically what that would give me the ability to do, somebody mentioned in one of my comments about using aluminum extrusion, which I haven't considered. And when you look at that pathway for your shop, right, you can go out and buy a dashboard table for $1,600, or MFT table for whatever, for several $100s, or you could buy something like that Evolution miter saw, which is something that I consider, where you can cut steel, you know aluminum, all of these different things with the appropriate blade, and get miter saw level quality which would give you the ability to make your own MFT. I could pair that with the Parf Guide system that I already have in my shop to be able to make MFT tops and to make my own custom MFT tables that may better suit my work solution. Like the way that I built my 4 foot by 8 foot MFT, it's, you know, it's got a wheelbase, but I didn't make it to where you could actually attach aluminum extrusion to the side without it causing some other challenges. And then like with this new bench that I built, and that I just threw it together. I could actually, if I had the metal miter saw, I could just buy some off the shelf aluminum extrusion, cut it, affix it to the sides, and then I could go to like dashboard and buy their dashboard hinge system and put it on this other table because it's not quite as deep. So it's easier for like cross cutting as opposed to my 4 foot by 8 foot MFT. That's one of the downfalls to having a 4 foot by 8 foot table and being a shorter person. You can't really reach all the way across, but like when you start talking about assembly and all these other things, it is beneficial to have a big workspace. So these are just different things that I'm thinking about. Let me know in the comments if you have any comments about any of these things. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for taking the time. Take care.